Hi, this is Spine with a breakdown of the first IEM Sao Paulo 2012 quarterfinals. In this best of 5 series, Liquid'Ret and Empire.viOLet duke it out in the CVC for a spot in the grand finals. The first game is played on Metalopolis and the two players spawn in cross-map position. viOLet tries to put on some early pressure with a temp pool and a double extractor trick, but Red, who battled his way to the quarterfinals only with CVC, goes for 14 gas, 14 pool and the fancy attack with links and drones. viOLet gets circling speed, a second queen and hunts down an overlord while starting to drone up. Red decides to cancel the spine as his queen finishes and go for an expansion and a baneling nest. viOLet once again tries to put on some pressure, this time with speedling and banelings. Red and viOLet dance the deadly baneling dance, but no major hits land. viOLet tries to sneak 4 banelings in the main, but Red is prepared and kills them without losing any workers. viOLet retreats to his own natural and the worker count for both players goes to 21. With a superior link count, Red decides to put on some aggression. viOLet wastes some banelings on single links and loses 3 drones to Red. With an established economy of around 30 drones, both players go for +1 roaches. Red takes third base and starts his lair, whereas viOLet knows he could hit a strong timing with his very fast attack upgrade. He uses one inject cycle to build 14 roaches at once and moves out. viOLet doesn't give Red any chance to react and immediately attacks the front while reinforcing with speedlings. Red manages to hold the attack off but loses half of his workers. viOLet waits about 2 minutes to let the full effect of his economy leak kick in before his overwhelming roach army brings him the win. The second game takes place on Tal'Darim Altar and the two players spawn at the two bottom positions. Up until 4 minutes both players have nearly the exact same build. 14 gas, 14 pool and as soon as the pool finishes the speed upgrade, a queen and a baneling nest. viOLet sends 4 links through the center of the map to hide them, and Red sends all his links straight to his opponent's base. He morphs 4 offensive banelings, whereas viOLet gets 4 defensive banelings and a spinecrawler. Red moves in with 2 pairs of banes and manages to take out 2 drones and a few links. Now viOLet morphs his 4 hidden links and moves in. Red's links are still out on the map and the spinecrawler is not ready yet, so viOLet gets some nice hits off in the mineral line, but is still behind in the worker count. In the next skirmish, viOLet lands a nice explosion and evens out the supply count. And after a little baneling exchange, he decides to retreat while taking 2 roaches. With a ling run by, Red takes out a drone and retakes the supply lead. viOLet decides not to chase the links, so Red hides them in the north part of the main and morphs them into banelings. viOLet scouts them and defends with a baneling and his queen. Red nearly manages to take out a spinecrawler, but the roaches arrive just in time. viOLet now has the supply lead and goes for an attack. Red banked money for his roach transition, but he has to build some banelings to defend. viOLet spots the 2 spinecrawler and decides to run past them, and Red gets some huge hits off, which allows him to clean up the roaches with his speedling. After he holds off the attack, his roaches pop and he expands with a massive supply lead. He moves out and pushes viOLet's army to the north. When Red goes for his opponent's main, viOLet decides to go for a base trade. Red catches viOLet's defense off guard and takes out everything with his speedlings. Meanwhile, a counterattack in the main gets cleaned up by a baneling and the drones. viOLet is forced to GG. The third game of the series is played in Antigua Shipyard and the players spawn in cross-map positions. Both players once again go for nearly the same opening build. Hedge first into gas before pool, 2 queens, circling speed and a baneling nest. Neither of the players is planning any early aggression and they delay the first links as long as possible. At the 6-minute mark, Red's link speed finishes, whereas viOLet's speed upgrade is a few seconds from being done, what allows Red to get 2 links into his opponent's base. viOLet wants to play aggressive with speedling and banelings and decides to ignore the scouting links, allowing Red to morph them into banelings. viOLet tries to swing his banelings around the spines into the mineral line, but Red deals with this attack perfectly and comes out ahead in supply. As soon as his base is safe, Red sends the 2 banes into his opponent's mineral line and gets the big hit off. He takes down 7 workers with 2 banelings. Red goes for the traditional +1 roach build, whereas viOLet goes for a spire. Red scouts the quick lair and takes a third, while also trying to get some damage done with his roach baneling army. His push arrives just a few seconds after most binds have finished and viOLet is able to defend but falls behind in supply. After this attack, viOLet's muters are about to be ready, so he takes a third and builds 13 drones. He harasses very aggressively and gets some damage done, but loses a lot of his muters. Red meanwhile drone up his third and is building a roach, hydra and fester army. viOLet plans to switch into roach and fester, so he makes a big push with his muter baneling army and they trade their armies rather equally. After a few minutes, viOLet pushes once again, this time with a pure roach army, and gets repelled by the roach, hydra and fester mix. Now Red is on the offensive, but he engages Violet's army terrible. His infestors are at the front, the Hydras and Roaches are not arranged right, and his whole army's in a choke, whereas Violet has a beautiful arc. Violet takes a 4th base and prepares his Nidus play. When Red moves out to secure his 4th base, the Nidus pops up in the completely unprotected main and Red decides to go for a base trade. Violet already planned for the situation and holds his natural with Spike Crawlers and Infestors. He takes down everything Red has and forces him to surrender. It's now 2-for-1 in favor of Violet in this best of 5 series. The 4th game takes place on the 2-player map Dual Side. Red's opening is a 10 pool 10 gas, and Violet starts with a 14 pool and a 15 gas. When Red arrives at Violet's base, the links are already out. Red stopped mining gas after he started the speedling upgrade, since he only has 10 drones, whereas Violet has 15 drones and builds a 2nd queen and a baneling nest. Red tries to break Violet's ramp with speedlings, but couldn't get through the queen defense. Violet morphs 6 banelings and then even more banelings to bring the GUI death to Red. As he takes out everything, Red GG's and wishes him good luck in the finals. Violet takes a series 3-1 in a very convincing way. He will go on to play the winner of Real vs Supernova in the grand finals. Please leave me a comment and thank you for watching.